Hey everyone, TiredEyeBags here. So Game Rant did a interview with the Bornless team when they were at Gamescom, and they posted it recently. I'll leave a link to the actual website down below. But here's an interview with one of the devs where they talk about just the aspects of the game, where it came from, what the gameplay is going to kind of be like, and they'll show some video clips. So this will give you some more of an idea of what the Bornless is going to be like when it finally releases. So I'm going to go ahead and pull it up. During this video, I might make some cuts if there's some commercials that pop up, because I don't need to have commercials popping up during the video. But so if you see any cuts in the video, that's probably why. But anyways, go ahead and get into it.
G'day again, Game Rant community. I'm here at Gamescom for day number 2. So we're here speaking with Brendan Lansdale from the Bornless. He is the lead game
This was
developer,
at Gamescom that happened like last month.
We wear many hats because we're a smaller studio, so level designer, generalist, a little bit of everything.
Okay, so we've got the jack of all trades here from the Bornless. So yeah, welcome to Cologne. How's the experience been so far for you guys?
It's my first time out
I wish
of
I could have
country
went there.
from the
I wish I could have gone to
United States, and it
play
is
this
phenomenal.
and get that damn comic book.
Honestly.
I want the
It's
comic book, guys.
So we've got a pretty big lineup here, even us checking out the game ourselves. It's about a 2-hour wait. Was that something you guys expected, or what's the reception been like so far?
If anyone has that comic book, let
I
me know.
wasn't sure what to expect, to be honest. I've been to a few different events, much smaller scale. It was, pretty steady all the way through. This is the first time we've revealed this game mode, though, so we weren't sure what to expect. But it's all our expectations have been exceeded. I'll tell you that.
Unreal. So this is a bit of a spooky one, this one. So maybe talk us through what can players expect? What is the Bornless?
I don't want to talk too much. I
So
need
the
to talk
Bornless
once in a
is
while, but I'm not going to talk too much.
PvE extraction shooter, and I know, it's a cliche terms. We've heard it before, but where we differ is
you can see the trailer
more of an open map
where that clip is from. Also on my page, I did a reaction to this trailer, like two Bornless videos back.
And the comic tells a little bit about it. But play 8 teams of 2, 16 players, fight on a map over totems and gates, and the objective is to summon, defeat demons, and take their powers to hunt the rest of the players on the map.
Okay, so essentially what you've got a bit of an option as a player. You can either try and make a stop to the ritual, or you can invoke it yourself. So what's it like to be the Bornless itself? What sort of powers can people expect to have? Is it quite overpowered?
This is really cool.
Yeah. So right now it's in quite an overpowered state. Once you become the demon and you're hunting the other players, you really feel like you are the hunter. The players have extractions they have to get to, and you just chase them down across the map. We will eventually have many different demons, but at the moment you play as Oribus, who has been our first demon for 2 years now. We've got a few more, and each demon has a different set of abilities to kind of cater to the lore and the story behind them. And what we do,
you will learn during this interview where they get their ideas for where they got the ideas for the characters and all this stuff from.
It's a story-based game. It just happens to be in a multiplayer setting. So, if you read about the lore, you'll learn that from the Lesser Key of Solomon, the books that we pull information from, a lot of those tie into the abilities of the demons.
Okay, great. And so what would you say for the team? What was the inspiration behind the game?
Oh, the Lesser Key of Solomon, for sure. A few different other things. Obviously,
I have not looked into that Lesser Key of Solomon. I got to look into that,
dude.
dude.
Big one, as you can tell by a lot of the lighting and the art direction of the game. But the actual demons in the story come from a book called the Lesser Key of Solomon. It's also known as the Ars Geisha, so it's a little bit lesser known term. But it's,
Sorry, there was an ad.
It's actually a book of 72 different demons and how King Solomon conquered them.
Okay, well, yeah, that sounds pretty grim. Yeah, okay. And the game is in sort of 3 phases each round.
Could you imagine if they had 72 demons in the game? That'd be crazy.
They'll be going into the matchmaking. They'll be going through these 3 phases, and then they can kind of it's a rinse and repeat sort of thing. But what are the phases?
So there's the loot and extract, which is like the basic kind of gets you into the game mode, and then there's the invoking the ritual. So as I mentioned earlier, there's totems and gates around the map. Collecting the skulls, the incense skulls from the totems will allow you to activate a gate, and activating a gate is how you get a sigil after you defeat the demon. So it's kind of collecting relics and kind of objects to complete the ritual, and that's how you become the demon at the end.
Okay, and is this
I'm going to talk about the game a bit after this too.
So we've announced it before. We actually are on Steam. And at this moment, I believe we're around 250,000 wish lists.
I will put the link to the wish list to wish list it on Steam in the chat in the description down below as well.
In the past, we tried out different types of game modes. We had a 2v2 game mode. We had the original Oribus game mode, the demon that you play today. It was quite different from what we have now. But people liked it, it kind of stuck, and so we kind of huddled down and worked on getting a version that really represented what the story actually is.
Okay, so I mean, we're talking about, you've got a lot of wish lists on Steam and stuff. So
Well, those are gonna be
obviously
another ad.
the community is quite heavily involved, and they're very invested in this. So could you maybe touch on like what kind of influence has the community had on the direction that you guys have gone in the
And
league?
I could vouch for this part.
Actually, believe it or not, one of the mottos that we go by is, even though we're making the game is for the community, right? It's what they want to play at the end of the day. Otherwise, how's the game going to flourish? So we've held a few tournaments of the previous game modes in the past, and the reason we're on the 4th iteration of the game mode is because of the feedback that we got from players. They came back in November. We did a big play test where we brought around 10,000 people came in, and they loved it, they enjoyed what was there, but they expressed what they were looking for, really, and that's what this game mode is today that you'll see.
I mean, that's just the beauty of the gaming community, isn't it?
Right.
Okay, well, it's been great talking to you. So the Bornless is coming out early access end of this year, so when can we expect that?
Yeah, we're looking at a larger public playtest at the end of this year, another set of feedback. Obviously, what we're showing today is still in alpha, so we've got some stuff to work on. We've already gotten some great feedback from today, but large playtest then, looking at early access approximately beginning of next year. We'll see how things go. No hard date set in stone. It may come earlier, may come a little later, but yeah.
Well, I mean, the good things, you have to wait a little bit for them. So yeah, it's been great talking to you, Brenton, so thanks for your time. And the Bornless will be out end of this year, maybe start of
I'm just gonna end it there. I probably had a cutaway because I was gonna cut away all the commercials. A commercial popped up right, and there's like 30 seconds left, but you're not gonna miss much on that. You can go watch the full interview again in the description. I'll have a link to this in the description down below. But the game is, I got to play do a little play test of it recently, and I can't go too much in depth about it, but it's a very, very fun game. I can very much vouch for the fact they listen to the community. I've been in the community in Discord and stuff for maybe almost a year now, maybe a little bit less than a year. Maybe it could be a year at this point. I don't know, actually. Either way, it's pretty close to a year. Maybe it's like 8 months or 9 months or something. I don't know. But they're very, very, very responsive. The devs are constantly answering questions and stuff in the Discord. They're reaching out to people and talking to them. After the last playtest, the dev team reached out to all of us who play tested it and talked to us personally and said, "Hey, what are your thoughts?" So they're very, 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 very much into trying to make this a game that people enjoy playing. Now, obviously, I'm sure like any complaints I had might have been like, you know what, well, he complained about it, but these people loved it, so we might keep it in because more people seem to like it. So it's one of those things where you're not gonna there's probably gonna always be someone complaining. But it's a very, very fun game, and obviously, like, I played a early playtest version of it, so it's going to only get better from here, I imagine. But it's very, 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 very fun game. Awesome devs, amazing team. They have a lot of passion for the game. Like, they're trying to make it a game that people enjoy, as he said on there. And their actions are showing it. Their actions definitely show it. So I'll put a link in the description down below for the Steam page for you to wishlist it if you want to wishlist it. There is a playtest coming up. As of the moment of this video, it was announced for the 26th of October and 27th of October. Obviously, if you're watching that afterwards, there might be another playtest coming up after that. They do push back dates. They try to make sure something's working properly. Like, we were supposed to have a playtest earlier this year, and they pushed it back because they weren't quite happy with what they had so far, which is great. That means they're making sure it's working good before they playtest it, right? Originally, they said they were going to have try to do early access by the end of this year. Now it sounds like they moved it more, probably because they want to make sure it's fine-tuned as much as possible, so they don't fall into the conversation of failed early access games kind of thing, which is great. But anyway, I'll put a description down below. I'll even put a link to the Discord in the description down below. Make sure you like my video, subscribe to the channel, and share this with a friend who might want to learn more about the Bornless. And I'll see you guys around.